there are still some pretty significant unanswered questions, and I'll start with one of probably the biggest one, is that this $5-6 million training number that has the market upside down today, that was not their most recent model. They have an R model. It's unclear, maybe that was 25, 50, $100 million to train it. It probably was below what the most recent version of OpenAI's model, which is anticipated or estimated to be about a $500 million in terms of training. So I think big picture here is that how we are delivering AI is evolving, and there may be some pretty significant improvements in terms of the ability to do that at a lower cost.
So to that point, Gene, how much, if we look at NVIDIA in particular, it's down about 283 points. What part of that is justified?
So I think the big picture here, I think that this is an overreaction. I think it's, when you look at a company like NVIDIA, it's a company we do own, and I think that this is an overreaction. And just specifically around that, if we can kind of zero in on this concept that these models are becoming more efficient, let's just take DeepSeek at face value that they've had some sort of an improvement, is that that improvement, if you believe that the US tech companies are competent, that improvement is around some architectures that have been talked about for the last couple months. So those companies, the big tech companies, the companies that are behind all the announcements last week, Meta increasing their CapEx spend, and I think that is all that is a belief that they still need this hardware. So when it comes back to AI and it comes back to the NVIDIA trade, is that I believe if they are reducing the costs to train these models, that I actually can build I think a credible case that could increase the demand for some of this hardware. If we are getting closer to general intelligence, if that potential is even closer, there's just going to be an insatiable arms race that's going to continue. And so I understand why NVIDIA is down today. I think it's actually a healthy thing, but ultimately I think that their business is going to be just fine. We have to wait 21 trading days before we hear from at least NVIDIA on that, but I think it's going to be fine.
So Gene, was it a coincidence that on Friday, Meta ups its CapEx forecast dramatically, which by magnitude I've never seen, from 50 billion to 65 billion, and then today we get this news on DeepSeek. Was that kind of, I don't know, coincidence?
I think I think that's just purely coincidence. But I do kind of go back to what we were just talking about a minute ago. Is I think it's important to note is that announcement from Meta, if you assume Meta is competent, and I believe that they are, that announcement came with the full knowledge of what DeepSeek was doing. So it's new to most of us today. But for these companies who have been making these huge investments, the concept of what DeepSeek had been trying to build has been, they've had a model that's been out. This has been something that's been aware for the last couple months. And so I think that is important, is that I think, again, that this commentary on Friday from Zuckerberg about the increased CapEx factors in some of these potential breakthroughs that we've seen with DeepSeek. I want to stop short of saying it's definitively a breakthrough. There's a lot of unknowns around how good the models are and what the true costs are. But I think that the AI investment phase is still alive and well. This is still very early.
So if this could be an overreaction, we don't know. Fair enough. NVIDIA, obviously an overreaction, the stock, the way you look at it. Does it make you think, though, a rating of 41 times estimated PE?
So from where my head's at and thinking about calendar 26 at this point, and based on the calendar 26 numbers, I think it's closer to like a 25.
Okay.
And I think that they can grow earnings more than that. This is where basically the rubber hits the road, is that ultimately what happens in calendar 26? All the stuff we're talking about with DeepSeek today really impacts NVIDIA in 26. And if in fact this dramatically changes how the kind of hardware that people need, less hardware, then I'm going to be wrong. But if this does create this accelerated arms race, then I think that they're going to grow faster. And so I consider a one peg on that 26 earnings as actually a attractive valuation relative to the rest of the group. So I'm comfortable with the valuation.